and the Boston Celtics, speaking of twos, too tired, too old, too injured, 2-2. Going back to South Beach. Game 4 from Boston. LeBron James and company, he'd be watching everyone else's talents from the bench at the end of this one. We'll show you why. Second quarter, Celtics up strong, up 14. Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce, that goes in. How about threading the needle there? 10 assists in the first half for Rondo. They were up 17 after the free throw, and then moments later, here's Pierce, shot fake, gets weighed up in the air, hits the jumper, +1, that's the truth. Celtics up by 18 after the free throw. Under 2 minutes. Celtics still up 18. Rondo drives at Shane Battier. That's called for an offensive foul. He's given a technical. Take a look why he kicked Battier while he was on the ground. Both sides have been complaining about the refs. Rondo expressed his frustration to Doris Burke.
What holes are you guys exploiting in this defense?
Them complaining and crying to referees in transition.
I like that. Them complaining and crying to the referees in transition like it's all one thing. Third quarter, LeBron James shot fake. Thought he'd draw contact. Now, he's not crying to the referees, but he is complaining. No call. Later, Heat down 11. All right, you're not going to call that? I'm going to rock this. Flies down the lane for the dunk. Heat cut the lead to 9. Under a minute left in the third. Heat down 8. Clear eyes, full heart. Can't lose. D-Wade, 3. He had 20 points. Heat cut the lead to 5. In the fourth quarter, still down 5. Shane Battier. He can't kick Duke. The wing three-pointer, Heat within 2. Moments later, Kevin Garnett turns it over. Heat the other way. Norris Cole. Bram, this dish to LeBron is like, you're the star. I'm going to let you have it. Game tied at 74. Next Heat possession. Cole's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get mine. First lead of the game for Miami on a 15-1 run. Later, watch Garnett battling LeBron inside. Physical basketball. James hits the ground. Double foul called for LeBron. It's his 5th. Take another look. What did Bruce say earlier?
He's never seen that before in a playoff game ever.
Double foul, really? James would have to go to the bench. Paul Pierce went inside. James would have been guarding Paul, but he was on the bench. Under 3 minutes left, Celtics up 1. Kevin Garnett, jumper from the top. Celtics up 3. Garnett, a double-double. Under a minute to play. Booyah! LeBron James, the wing three-pointer. LeBron had 29 points. Next Celtics possession. Rondo drives to the rim. Offensive foul on Kevin Garnett. Now take another look. They got tangled up, but Garnett did kind of grab his wrist and pull him. But he was shocked still. Under 10 seconds left. Tie ball game. Heat ball. What do they call? LeBron gets triple team, gets it to Udonis Haslem. Not a great pass. Haslem misses. We go to overtime. In the extra frame, Paul Pierce working against Battier and trying to work Battier. Instead, Pierce runs over him, fouls out. Paul Pierce, sit down. You're gone. Later, Celtics down 1. Rajon Rondo will come up and try and be large like he has the entire postseason. He did not get a triple-double in this game, but that buttery floater was 2 of his 15. Celtics up 1. Moments later, Heat down 1. LeBron trying to post up Michael Petrus. LeBron called for the offensive foul. So like Pierce, he's got to sit down. First time LeBron James has ever fouled out of a postseason game. First time he's ever fouled out as a member of the Heat. Under 30 seconds left. Battier gets a good look at 3. No good. Final seconds. Last chance for the Heat. Down 2. What are you going to call? Well, LeBron on the bench, you better call D-Wade. Working to Marquise Daniel. Gets a fake. Gets a decent look. Online, not good enough. Take another look. D-Wade had it, but didn't. Celtics win Game 4, 93-91 in overtime. 4th straight season that Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals has gone into extra. Celtics now 7-1 in home playoff games when trailing in this series. Rajon Rondo, 15 assists to go along with his 15 points. 38 double-digit assists game. After the game, everybody's talking about the big win The trend continues for the fourth year in a row. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final went to overtime 3 years ago. Magic took a 3-1 series lead over LeBron's Cavs, thanks in part to a franchise record 17 three-pointers. A year later, Magic won another Game 4 in overtime, this time staying off a sweep against the Celtics behind 32-16 from Dwight Howard. Celtics would go on to win this series in 6. Last year, the Heat beat the Bulls in overtime. LeBron James went off 35 points, 23 coming in the second half. It marked the first time all season that the Bulls lost 3 straight games. And on Sunday, yet another, we're going to play extra minutes. Both Paul Pierce and LeBron, as you saw, fouled out. Rondo came up huge for the Celtics. 15 dimes as the Celtics win Game 4 to even up the series 2-2.
Our execution in the first half was flawless. It was as good as maybe we've had. And we got completely away from it. We really did. And then I thought Miami just got into us. I thought they physically got into our airspace and took us out of everything.
It's not a one-man show. It's not a two-man show. We have 5 guys on the court that can put the ball in the hole, and we look for each other. So I didn't feel like I had to force anything. I just tried to run and call the sets, which were for Kevin, Ray, and Paul. And, they delivered.
Going into it, you got to expect every game to be like this. Coming down to the wire, both teams trying to find an edge. This is a great game today to be a part of.
I mentioned Rondo's 15 assists. I also mentioned it's his 38th career double-digit assist game in the playoffs. Here's a historical stat. That ties him with the great Bob Cousy for the most in franchise history. All good for the winners, but whenever there's a winner, there's also a losing locker room.
The way we came out in the first half, we weren't as committed as we can be, and that's the way it has to be against this team. You have to collectively be willing to get into the pit and get your hands dirty.
I don't foul out. And sometimes if I'm gonna foul out, that's 6 foul. I wish I would have earned it. It would have actually been a foul on me. So.
Eric, can you describe what you ran in that last play? It seemed like it was supposed to be run for Chalmers, and either way didn't.
No, there's a couple different layers to that. We're going to look and see if we get a cheap one. If not, it was going to come back to Dwayne to what you saw, pick and roll with he and Shane. We got a clean look at it. That's pretty much all you can ask for at that point.
We take you Samsung next level on the Heat. Both Udonis Haslem and Dwayne Wade missed big shots at the end of the fourth quarter in overtime. Over the last 2 postseasons, the Heat are now 0 for 10 on game-tying or go-ahead shots with less than 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter or overtime. Dwayne Wade personally now 0 for 4. Our countdown crew, they're always on it.
LeBron James and Paul Pierce have had some incredible playoff duels over the years, but on Sunday night, neither could do anything but pace the sidelines after each fouled out. Pierce has now fouled out of 3 of the Celtics' past 5 games. For LeBron, it was the first time he'd fouled out of a playoff game ever. And in the locker room afterward, he was not pleased.
I don't foul out. And, sometimes if I'm going to foul out, that's 6 foul. I wish I would have earned it. It would have actually been a foul on me.
It's very frustrating. But it's gratifying when you see their other star player foul out also. So they kind of even up the playing field.
I know how I play the game of basketball, and I don't need an advantage of holding somebody or pushing somebody down or whatever. We lost.
The guy never really has a lot of fouls. A lot of players don't really try to attack him. It's only a few of us who give you that type of aggressiveness and scoring. So, he gets a lot of nights off.
At halftime, Rajon Rondo had characterized the Heat players as, quote, complaining and crying over the way the game was being called, adding fuel to an evening that only got more dramatic at the overtime buzzer when Dwayne Wade took a shot that just bounced off the rim. The shot came close enough, Boston coach Doc Rivers said as he watched it fly through the air, he called it good. But in the end, he noted, the spirit of Celtics legend Red Auerbach, quote, wasn't going to let that one go in. In Boston, I'm Rachel Nichols, ESPN.
Rachel, thanks. At 27 years, 156 days, LeBron becomes the youngest player in NBA history to reach 3,000 career points in the postseason. More than a year younger than Kobe Bryant, who had been the youngest, the only other player to get there before the age of 30, some dude named Michael Jordan.